Today we have with us Narce Rodriguez. She is the Vice President for Student Affairs and the Chief Diversity Officer, the Diversity and Inclusion Officer at Pacific University. Narce has 30 years of higher education experience. She's previously held positions at Portland Community College, Portland State University, and Oregon State, go Beavs. She holds a Master of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies, Higher Education Administration, and Women's Studies from OSU, go Beavs, as well as a Bachelor's in Sociology and Spanish, also from OSU, also go Beavs. She is an elected official for the Forest Grove School District, Central Cultural Board Member, Latino Policy Co-Chair Board Member, Vision Action Network Board Member, and most recently was appointed to the Oregon School Boards Association, and she's a member of their Color Caucus. She is a mom. She is the wife of a retired veteran partner. She's a sister, she's a grandmother, and a daughter of Jesus Rodriguez and Guadalupe Guzman, who she honors for all the sacrifices they have endured for their children to have a better life. Please welcome Narce.
Hi, Amy. Thank you so much. I was so formal. Now I feel like I should deliver a big speech, but and I'm not. So first of all, thank you, Amy. It's really nice to, some of you are very familiar to me, because of Pacific University and Claudia, we were dance moms way back in the day. And Geoff, I believe you and I work very closely at, don't see your picture, but we work really closely at Portland Community College, in particular with the career technical programs. So I am very excited to be here today, and I want to engage in a conversation with all of you. I have received a request to be able to come and engage in conversation about the Rotary Club, and was made aware that recently you have all implemented a committee to assure that there's some education to the members on this particular topic of what EDI, or diversity, equity, and inclusion, and that this has come up is it's an important topic for all of you. So I was asked to come and speak to you about my personal and professional view. So I'm really here to really engage with you and just see me more like a consultant coming in to chat with you about, what is it that you need, what is it that you want? And this is a conversation that I start actually with all of the stakeholders that I engage with, and in particular here at Pacific University and previously at PCC, where diversity, equity, and inclusion, and I'm going to focus on diversity just for a minute, it really begins with engaging with each other. Right? A lot of times we are all at a different space, at a different time, with knowledge, understanding of this particular topics, diversity, equity, and inclusion. What does it mean? I remember a couple of months ago working with one of our board members here at PCC, Norm Scott, and he said, can we just start with the basics? Just educate me on what is all exactly, I kind of have an idea, but I like to just kind of break it down. So we consulted a lot with each other, and then we ended up delivering a workshop. I did that with another faculty from a College of Arts and Science area here at Pacific. And then that story repeats itself with every organization or academic unit or student group that I'm working with, like where are we? And where do we want to go? And then what understanding does your organization have? Now, I'm kind of a nerd, and I like to, I wanted to find out, more about the Rotary. I know about the Rotaries, but I wanted to know what are the Rotaries doing nationwide, and what are the Rotaries doing within the state of Oregon? And then what's the Rotary Club of Forest Grove doing as well? So super excited about the amount of years it's been in existence here in Forest Grove, which I live here. I consider it my town and love this community. And very impressed with the community involvement, the scholarship program, community beautification, public spaces, youth funding, and all the different things that you're all doing. So as I did a little bit of research on what other Rotaries have done, and maybe you've already done that work. So I'm going to talk for a little bit, and then I'm going to stop talking, and then I want to engage in diversity, because diversity is getting to know each other, first of all. right? I don't want to just come in here and say, this is what you need to do. This doesn't quite work that way. So I've noticed that some Rotaries throughout the nation have like a EDI or DEI, it doesn't matter what we call it, whether it's equity, diversity, inclusion, um, a statement, or they might have they call just a diversity statement. So I understand you're getting a committee going. So I kind of want to know, where are you at? Where do you think you might want to go? What help might you need from me or other stakeholders of mine that I work with closely? Because I like to work in partnership. My philosophy is that I don't believe in what is called cultural competency. Cultural competencies are important. That's like, check the box. I attended a diversity committee and I'm done. It's almost like an immunization. Oh, I just got the COVID test, or I got the measles, and I'm done. It's immunization. Diversity work, it's really more what I call a cultural humility. What does that mean? That means that it's an everyday thing. It's something that it's not just a one shot. So the humility is really just practicing that diversity. We're all in a very different spectrum. I have still a lot to learn, in particular about our LGBTQ plus communities. I'm still learning. I still mess up. I still say the wrong pronouns. And I always tell people and peers and colleagues and all of you, as I consider my community leaders, my friends, it's okay. We're going to mess up. We're going to not know. I come across that a lot here at Pacific, when I may be working with faculty and the students might be really hard on them sometimes and say, well, how come you don't know, that we're now, we're called Latinx students, or we're no longer called XYZ, or whatever it might be. So I try to tell people that we need to exercise with patience and care, because we're all in a different situation. Many of us, when we went to school, I went to Oregon State University, I didn't get to learn all this stuff about equity, diversity, and inclusion. I had to supplement it. One is my identity as a Mexican-American woman in this country, and a second language learner, have to learn English once I enter the K through 12 system. So wanted to give you a little about my background and how I go about engaging in this work. So I see some opportunities, definitely for the Rotary on how we can possibly provide a partnership with Pacific University. I'll just give you one little peekaboo, an example, and then I'll be quiet. For example, because I'm kind of very action mode, but also big thinking and all over the place. But I wanted to, for example, talk about your community involvement. So one of the things that the state of Oregon just recently came up with another federal state, I believe it's a state, actually it's the state holiday about Juneteenth. Are you all familiar with that? Did you hear about Juneteenth? Okay. So us here at Pacific University, I had never done any programming on Juneteenth. To be honest, and to be transparent, I had never also myself had done any Juneteenth participation at Oregon State or PSU or PCC. So when I came to Pacific University and I was engaging with students, faculty, and staff, they said, what are we going to do? So had to quickly learn my history, quickly engage others to work with in partnership. So what are we going to do? So we ended up starting to do some programming for it. So an idea that sort of came to me just in general was, what opportunities do we have to work with the Rotary on possible Juneteenth, because it will now be a holiday for the state of Oregon coming up. So I'm just planting seeds. Keep in mind that I come from a migrant farm worker. And I tend to use the metaphors of let's plant seeds, and it takes time to water them and nurture them. Another possible partnership in the future is MLK, Martin Luther King Day. Also a holiday. Pacific has that day. It's a holiday, obviously, we do, and it's a day off. So when I was at Portland Community College, even though we were technically off, not working, we called it a day on. So we worked in partnership with nonprofits within Washington County, such as Adelante Mujeres and Bienestar and Centro Cultural. And we did community work based on some curriculum that's out there in the nation that's called A Day On out of the MLK Foundation, I believe, of some sort. So those are possible things that we can think about. So I'm getting into like in the weeds of what we could possibly do together with the Rotary. But first, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What do you need?
I know we've been operating with our DEI committee for almost the last year, I believe, maybe even a little bit longer than that. And it was important to us to kind of check the temperature of our group. So we did a survey of our group that we're going to be making into a yearly thing to kind of see what the different demographics of our group and the feeling of our group around DEI work. And it was very supportive. It was, I think it was a really productive survey. And our DEI committee has been working with our program coordinator to bring in more diverse programs and talk about issues in the DEI space and how maybe Rotary can be a part of those. And I think for me as president, it's really important and a priority that we work to have our clubs better reflect our community, which I think Rotary as a group in the United States at least doesn't have a representative population. And so looking at why that is and changes that we can make to encourage more diverse membership across abilities, ages, gender, and ethnicity. So I don't want to bulldoze through this conversation and leave plenty of time for other members to share them.
I'll just add a little bit, or Howard, you go, and I'll fill in.
So I'm Howard Sullivan. I'm the co-chair of the DEI committee. I think one of the things that we want to stress is we need to be patient in what we're doing, and providing opportunities for outreach to different groups to come speak to us, to engage that conversation. And I think your two days, Juneteenth and MLK, if I'm not mistaken, when I was with the chamber, there used to be an MLK march through town on the day, and then it ended at the university with speakers in Washburn Hall. So there's some models out there that could easily be reused. No need reinventing the wheel. But I think the big thing, and Narce, you commented on it, we need to be patient. And I was a teacher in the Forest Grove School District for 33 years. I absolutely hate with a passion that we do something just to do it and get it out, put a check in the box and okay, that's done, and away we go. You don't know how many times in my career I saw that in the different schools I taught. And it really griped me. So I hope with your leadership on the school board, those things aren't happening at the school district level. But we need to, kind of operate in that manner with the Rotary Group. Comment? Amy, did I do okay?
Yeah, no, you did great. Narce, we could talk more about this too, and maybe Howard and I could meet with you offline to strategize and bring it back to the community. That might be a powerful next step. I'm also a co-chair with Howard, And so we would love to do a deeper collaboration and align more with your office and really help bring some of this awareness to the community. We're just constantly trying to learn. And I think that's one thing about Rotary, and particularly our group, is we're a lot of lifelong learners here, and there's a real willingness to continue that. So I guess if others have other things to add, please. There's other perspectives too. So that's just kind of from the committee.
I just would like to make a comment. We have a community with a vast diversity, and I feel that it's wonderful for us to be having these conversations to address many things. Our own unconscious biases that we clearly don't know or are aware of. I think collectively as a Rotary Club, what I can say that I'm very proud of is our club is really one of a few clubs in our district that has taken a lot of steps in the right direction. We have a good percentage of women to men. We have some ways to go, obviously. We have, it is a diverse club, and it's exciting that we are opening the doors to understanding how we can do better in attracting members, so that, like Bryce said, we are a reflection of our community. So I'm excited that we're having this conversation. I'm excited that we have the DEI group or committee, not just within our club, but also in Rotary, that Rotary International is taking steps, to really put this in the forefront, to be inclusive to all members. So just on my end, I just think it's a really great step in the right direction.
Claudia, I would echo that, and I mean what you just said in particular is I've been listening to the words and to the spirit of the passion of this particular theme. So what I'm just quickly picking up is that one of your values, and it's that inclusion. So you're already there. You already have the DEI committee as well. So one of the things that I can offer in the way that this could work is that I have a menu of different professional development opportunities that I could provide, particular topics if you're all interested, such as you mentioned the word unconscious bias, also known as implicit bias. So, if needed, I can do a professional development opportunity about that, on learning about what does that mean. I'm privileged. What does that mean? Like when decisions are being made, we all have different ways of wanting to make decisions. Are the decisions being inclusive and thinking about how would XYZ have an impact on a veteran? How would this decision have an impact on a person with a disability, for example? So I can have my office send that. I probably am thinking to Amy and Howard, all of those particular presentations, and you can all, if I can offer that and have you all take a look at them and see what it is that you might be interested. That's sort of the work that I've been doing here at Pacific. It's what is it that you need, and then we talk, we engage, and then I customize depending on what people might need. So I can help with that. I'll be more than happy to help with that. Also, if you're all interested, and I don't, if you need more members, I can encourage the Student Multicultural Center director here at Pacific University, Jean Garcia, to be a member, to apply for the Rotary. I'm not sure what the process is, but she would be more hands-on also to be able to attend all the Rotaries. So I just need to know more about that. If you have an interest, that I could designate her to be part of.
Narce, I'll follow up with you about that and sponsor her so we can talk.
All right, very good. So that's what I can offer at this particular time. Again, talk about equity, diversity, inclusion, belonging. Howard, I agree with you 100%. It would be really easy for the DEI committee to come up with an equity statement or let's say a diversity statement for the sake of this conversation for the Rotary. But what does it really mean? And what action items will they have? So that is what I call cultural humility versus check the box. And you are correct, Howard, now I'm taking one hat and putting the other hat. As a Forest Grove School District elected official, we do still have a lot of work that needs to be done to assure that we're not just checking the boxes to represent all of the children that bring different diversity to the table and represent them well. So as an elected official, it's what I strive to. It's not always easy, but with support of many of you, it's easier.
I think there's a lot of great potential here. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to come and talk to us, and I look forward to building a relationship and having more of a dialogue moving forward. So,
Absolutely. Amy, I'll send you our links and all of that information so you can share with the members as well. And see me as your neighbor and a community member. And I thank you for all the work that you do. I really appreciate it. In particular, the scholarships. Those are a big hit in the community. So muchas gracias. You want me to stay or you want me to go, Amy and Bryce? What would you like me to do?
normally we just do kind of a wrap up at the end. So unless, I mean, we have a little bit of time. If anyone has any questions for Narce, this would be a great time to do that.
Any questions that you have, I don't get offended, whatever you might be thinking, like, whatever, it doesn't mean.
I have a question, Narce.
Sí.
In your role at the school district, are you encountering, I've seen a lot of national news and some regional news about critical race theory and the inclusion of that at in the lower levels. We have it in university levels, right? I'm just wondering if you're encountering that, some of that dialogue here in Forest Grove.
There is some dialogue about that, but it hasn't been elevated to for us board members to receive a lot of communication, mainly via email or via our superintendent. We have a lot of our community members at this particular time focusing more on mask or no mask within the K through 12, but the critical race theory it is actually one of the agenda items that we will be talking and engaging with and in the Forest Grove School District. Like, what does that mean? And there is a lot of national noise about this particular theory. I know certainly it's a Pacific, because I've been asked to help identify somebody within the College of Arts and Science to be able to do a one-on-one on what is critical race theory. So there's a lot of controversy.
Any other questions out there? All right, well, like I said, thank you very much for coming today, and we look forward to continuing to work with you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Buenas tardes. And anytime you need me, just call me and I'll be here. And I look forward to working in partnership.